What's up, guys? So I'm finally back. This has been highly requested. After making my tank guide, I got a lot of people asking for a plane and a navy guide. So we're going to be doing a plane guide right now. Oh shit! Before I continue, I just want to say two things. One, I listened to you all in the comments. You all appreciated the modules. You're subscribed to me. You love me. You like hearing my voice. It's got a nice bass to it. I can understand that. I have a nice inflection. But you said, we don't care about the modules. We don't know how to play the game. We don't want to know. We just want to know how to design tanks. All right, fine. I'll show you just the plane designs. We're not going to talk about the modules. Also, I do want to say, because I got asked in the comments, this is for multiplayer. Of course, everything that works really well in multiplayer is going to absolutely destroy in single player. Just thought I should put that out there. This is made for multiplayer. So first, we have the 1936 fighter, and we're going to be doing fighters first, with a 4x light machine gun and 2x light machine gun. Drop tanks for range, and non-strategic material usage because of the production cost. So fighters don't need air defense, all they need is air attack. And the reason why we have this gun set up is so we can use the cheapest engine at the start. A lot of countries do start with engine 2, but as you can see, that is a production cost increase for no reason, basically. So that's why we have these guns. And these are the best guns you can obviously get for this engine 1. So this is a very cheap, very good, like balanced stat plane for 1936. And this is what you should be building until about 1940 when you get your 1940 planes. So here we have the 1940 fighter. You should pretty much only be building this once you get it, as in there's no reason to do anything after it, because as I said, this is made for multiplayer, and most multiplayer games end before 1944 when you get the next fighter. But yeah, so we do engine 3, we skip engine 2 because at this point, you should have the industrial capacity, also known as IC if you didn't know that. You should have the industrial capacity to make a bit more expensive planes. We still have non-strategic material usage for the production cost, and we have light MG defense for the little bit extra air attack. So we have cannon 1s because they have the highest air attack for weight. And just 4x light machine guns because if we put more cannon 1s, it wouldn't fit on. So this is the plane that is used in like every game all the time ever. Lastly, we have the 1944 fighters. So this is pretty much the same, except it's ×2 cannon, and instead of the non-material strategic usage, we have armor plates. And the reason we do that is because at this point in the game, you should have a massive industry. And if the game's still going, to even get to 1944, which is a completely optional design, there's no reason to cheap out. You might as well just try and get the best stats possible. So that's why we do this. We have the 2x light machine gun instead of cannons again for the exact same reason. We don't want it to be weighing too much because we don't want to use the next engine because it costs a lot more. So that's it for fighters, and let's get straight into CAS now. So for CAS, it's kind of the same design, drop tanks, non-strategic material usage. We have an engine 2 instead of an engine 1 because CAS weighs more. And we just have one small bomb bay because that's all we need. You get it day 1, unlike everything else, like bomb locks and stuff, which you have to research. 1940 CAS, pretty much the same thing. Instead of non-strategic material usage, we replace that with dive brakes, because you don't need as much CAS as you need fighters, because you know air superiority is the most important. So we don't need it to be that cheap. We would rather just have better stats and everything. Same reason we have the light machine gun, the drop tanks for the range, and now we add a bomb lock because we can fit it in. And we do a ×2 engine instead of engine 3 because it's better for CAS. And we have 1944 CAS, same thing with the fighter, it's completely optional. We have an anti-tank cannon 1 because they have very high ground attack. As you can see, it's got the exact same ground attack as a small bomb bay, so that's really good. We have the bomb lock. We have everything here. 2x engine 3 because 2 engines are better than 1, and we add an armored plate. So back to the 1940 CAS. This is what you want to be making as well, just like the 1940 fighter. You just want to be making this only. Next, we're going to go to strategic bombers. So pretty much all you want is range and as much strategic bombing as possible. So we put the non-strategic material usage on because they're not supposed to be going into fighter planes, so you don't need the air defense, and we just need to make it as cheap as possible. So 108 is pretty cheap. So we have, what is this here? 4 times engine 3 for the 1936 strategic bomber, because strategic bombing uses a lot of weight, so we need, thrust. And 1940 strategic bomber, which is the exact same. So we also get armor plates for the defense, flying boat, because it's better sub detection if you ever want to bomb the sea. The biggest engines because of the weight, and we do heavy machine gun defense turret instead of light, because if we remove it, as you can see, it goes down to 86 in weight. So we just want whatever gives us the perfect weight to thrust, because why not? So we don't have a 1944 strategic bomber because after this one, there's no point to make another one because it just becomes too expensive and just too not worth it. And the last thing to show is a hybrid medium. So the only reason you would ever do hybrid mediums is for the range. They give better stats than fighters for way more production cost, and you're also able to use them as CAS in a strategic bomber. So they'll have an increased range to fighters as well. And as you can see, this is 1 times 4 light machine gun, 1 times 2 light machine gun, and this one has 2 4 light machine guns. Small bomb bay, this. We don't need to add drop tanks or anything, which we can't even do with this because we already have a nice range stat. Of course, we do non-strategic material usage, which is pretty much something you should be putting in oil planes until 1944 when your industry is that fat. But yeah, so the last plane we have is the 1940 hybrid medium, which is the exact same thing, except we add 1 fuel tank because we're using a big engine for a way more range. This for some defense. We have a cannon ×1 for the air attack, which is really good. 4 times light machine gun, and the small bomb bay and medium bomb bay as usual for the strategic and CAS bombing. So pretty much these are the only planes you'll ever need to design. There are some other planes like carrier fighters or carrier CAS, which you would just try to mimic this design or the design of your main fighter as much as possible. If you do have to remove stuff for weight, try downgrading your guns, because I know carrier fighters I think are 1 less thrust. So try downgrading your guns, and if you still don't have enough weight, you can remove the range, especially for carriers, because they're not going to be doing that much distance, because they're just going to be in naval battles. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Next video will be Navy, so check out that one when it comes out. And thank you all for watching.